Flosstube! Welcome back. I am Erin, the 2 Martini Stitcher, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. And I am excited to be here today to do a WIP parade. It is the end of 2019. Seemed like the perfect time to go through all the WIPs, maybe cull some out, only a couple, and show you everything I've got going and I'm taking into 2020. So settle in because I've got quite a few. This is going to be dropping on, I think I'm going to do this on New Year's Eve, so you guys can watch it New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So cheers! Happy New Year! Just got myself a little bubbly because just seemed like a celebration. Seemed like a celebration today. So a couple of disclaimers before I get started. This isn't a regular Flosstube, it's just a WIP parade. I'm going to try very, very hard to give you all the information on every WIP, so designer and fabric and threads used and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to do like my regular WIP info show notes in the drop-down box because I'm sure I would exceed the character limit and I don't have time. I don't have time for that. Normally I spend lots of time on the show notes giving you guys all lovely links and all the information, but there's a fair number of WIPs. So I'm just going to try really hard to give you all the information as I'm showing them. Also, because there are a fair number, I am going to be like opening the bags, taking them out, putting them back in the bags, because otherwise it'd never get back in order. So I am using my awesome planner, my 24 hours of cross stitch planner from the incomparable Jen Lee, and using the WIP list that I created. So excited. So I'm going to be showing you guys these in order of start date. But before I get started, I am going to show you, as I was going through and writing everything down and recording their start dates, there were 3 WIPs that I am either like just ditching, getting rid of completely, or I'm just not, like I'm not going to get rid of them, but I'm not considering them an active WIP, so I'll show you guys those first. The first one is the one that I am really just like, it's being dismantled, and that is May Sampler. This is a freebie pattern from With Thy Needle and Thread. It's available on their blog. It's super pretty. However, it was something I started for the School of Magical Stitches to like meet a task, and I started it on this like hand-me-down linen. This was actually the first thing I think I stitched on linen, and it was a linen that a friend had just given to me that like belonged to her mother or grandmother or something. And I don't love the linen, and I just have so many other things to stitch, and I really already, so the threads are just, this is just going to get thrown out. All I had started was border. This is just going to get thrown out. Going to keep the needle. It was just a freebie pattern, so I don't feel bad getting rid of that. And the floss will just go back in my stash, and I know at least 3 of these are already allocated to other projects. So they will get some use and some love. So that's the first one that is just totally being dismantled. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The other 2 are ones that I'm just going to hang on to, but I'm not, I mean, I might pull them out if it, you know, I needed to for some kind of homework challenge or something, but otherwise I'm not going to be working on these. The first one is, it was also a freebie pattern, Dog on Fire. My youngest asked me to stitch this for her. I'm pretty sure she's forgotten about it. She's already gotten a couple other things. I love this cartoon. This is the state of the world right now. However, it's big. It's just a lot of like full coverage stitching in a color palette I don't love. So that's how far I am. I think if I were ever to do it, I started on the second panel where it just says this is fine. I mean, someday I may finish that. So I'll hold on to it because it's just some DMC. It's some 16 or 18 count Ada, but I'm not going to actually be actively working on that, so I'm not counting it. And then the last one, you guys can laugh because I think I'm not alone in this for this year or previous years. Stache. Shame. Look how close I got too. All I needed to really do was their faces and put a quote on it. But matter of fact, I'm even gonna take the needle minder off that because it's Waldorf and I love Waldorf. Put the needle on there too, so I don't lose that needle. You know, if I ever had someone who just loved Golden Girls, I like the Golden Girls, but I'm not a Golden Girls diehard fan. But if I found someone who was that wanted it or wanted to finish it, I have all the patterns printed and in there. I have all the colors, which I've already put back into like my master DMC collection. Not that I have all of them, but I've put them back in with the rest of my DMC. So the flosses have already been resorted. So those are the ones that are not going forward with me into 2020, but I have plenty that are. So to get started, the first one I'm going to show you guys, of course, is Harry Potter book covers, and I started this one on April 3rd of this year. All of my WIPs have birthdays of this year because I didn't really fall down the rabbit hole and start stitching like a crazy person until March. So these are all April onward. Doesn't seem too bad to me, although some of them I thought, wow, I started it that long ago. We'll see what I have to say for myself this time next year. Hopefully this time next year I'm not carrying very many forward from 2019. Are those famous last words? I feel like the famous last words. Okay, so first up is Harry Potter book covers. My sad wrinkle cover picture. This is by Fox and Teacup Designs. I am doing the super size max color chart. They do have a standard size that looks maybe not quite as insane. And I've seen people stitch it up and it looks lovely as well. And there's also a version with the UK covers. So these are the US covers. She has a version with the UK covers too. So for all those of you that admire mine, I am stitching mine on 18 count, easy count Aida, easy guide, Aida, pre-gridded Aida. 18 count pre-gridded Aida with all the called for DMC. You guys see this every week, but here's where it is as of this moment. So there we go. Harry Potter book covers. I'm almost to that. I am stitching this one book at a time. So not necessarily along page lines, but I'm doing one book all the way down, then I'll start with book 2. As you can see, I'm down here, getting close to the end of book 1, and then I'll start book 2. So that is Harry Potter book covers. I know I started that on April 3rd because I posted my start in the Fox and Teacup Designs group. I didn't start actually tracking what I stitched and started when until the beginning of May, but I happen to have made a post about that, so I know that I started that on April 3rd. These next two I started in March or April sometime. So these are my next oldest WIPs. The first one is, and I have to pull up a picture of it because there's no cover picture. So this one is, I think it's just called Welcome. It's Welcome, Everything is Fine. That's the sign from The Good Place. If you're not a Good Place watcher, don't recognize it. That's what the finished chart is going to look like. I should have taken everything out of Q-snaps and stuff, huh? Oh well, what are you gonna do? I'm still kind of new at this. This is Flosstube 31, but I still don't know what I'm doing. First end of the year WIP. So I guess I should have probably pressed all of these and such. Oh, that would have taken a long time. Anyhow, here's where I am. I have Welcome all completed. So Welcome is done with the exclamation point all the way across. So I'm working on Everything is Fine. And this one, I would really like, this is stitched on 18 count white Aida. You can tell it's the beginning of my journey. Although I think I like it on white because it's white. I mean, the sign's white in the show. I can't remember what green it called for. I picked a different one. I'm using DMC 702 for that because that was the green I liked when I was looking at them and thought looked most like the sign on the show. The Good Place is off the air at the end of the season. it's in its final season. I would like to get that done, but it's a lot of stitching, but I would like to get that done before. I'm keeping track. Every time I say I want to get this done by, I'm writing it down. I'd like to get that done by May. I'm assuming they're going to wrap up their season in May, and it would be nice to have that done before the show goes off the air. So let's say I'm shooting for a May finish on that. I don't want to be making too many big proclamations in here, but what are you gonna do? The next one that I started also in the March-April time frame is New York City by Awesome Pattern Studio, and this came in my cross stitch calendar. So NYC, and this is also being stitched on either 16 or 18 count white Aida with the called for DMC colors. And that's where I am on that. So there we go. NYC, New York City. Okay, then we move into stuff I started in May. I'm not gonna go back. I didn't go back and like pull all my finishes and show you all the finishes. Guys, I can actually go through, oh, I should have tallied everything. At the very end, I will go through and tell you how many starts and how many finishes I had this year, because I do have that written down. So I will, at the very end, I will pause, tally, and give you a total on starts and finishes for the year. But I didn't pull all my finishes for the year. We only have so much time. Okay, so the next Lotus WIP I have is my Friends collage. I gotta find the cover picture for it. Here it is. So there it is, Friends collage. And this is an Etsy pattern. And I can tell you the name of the designer. The designer is Anastasia Imanova, and her Etsy is Ann M. Cross Stitch. A-N-I-M Cross Stitch on Etsy. And it's just called Friends. I call it the Friends collage, but it's just called Friends. I am stitching this on 18 count white Aida with all the called for DMC, and this is where I am. There's nothing I've stitched that isn't in this Q-snap. So you can see I've kind of got quite a bit of this section done. I need to finish off the Central Park sign and finish off the football. And I stitch on this for challenges occasionally. I love it, but it's just for me. It's just for me. It's gonna hang up here in my stitching room, in my craft gym room when it's finished, so I'm not in a big hurry to have it done, but it's sometimes fun to stitch on while I watch some Friends reruns. Okay, next up is a Mill Hill kit, and I started this one on May 20th. And it is Latte by Mill Hill. And I'm doing it on the perforated paper with all of the all of the kit flosses and everything, and that's how far I am. That's another one that I love. I love these Mill Hill kits. They're fun. This will sit next to my coffee. I bought the frame for it and everything. So this will sit next to my little coffee station when it's done, whenever it's done. I don't have like a timeline that I really feel compelled to get that done on. All right, the next one I started was one called It's Nap Time. I started this on May 21st. That was a big start week. And this one is from Plastic Little Covers. It came in a theme box that I purchased from her, and it was the kind of extra freebie pattern. So I don't have a cover picture of it, but it's called It's Nap Time. You can get this now as an individual pattern on her Etsy shop. So it's called It's Nap Time. I've got 3 blue bubbly things and some stars to do. And this is another one that my youngest has requested because she wants to hang it on her door like a do not disturb sign. And I've even bought already like little backing fabric to make it a little stuffed door hanger. So that's another one that it sometimes fits like color challenges. Like if I have to stitch in blue, that'll be my go-to. and it'll get done when it gets done. The next start was the very next day on May 22nd, and that one is Hello Pumpkin, which is a stitch along. Was a stitch along. It's all finished now, and I don't think I have a finished cover picture. I don't. I'm sure you guys have seen this though. Lots of people have done it. It was a caterpillar cross stitch along. And this is how far I am. It's so cute. There's a fox, there's a hedgehog. I haven't ripped out that toadstool yet because this has kind of been in a little bit of timeout because that's in the wrong place. You can see I restarted it here. But I like this. I would really like to have this done by next fall. So I would like to shoot for an October finish on that. And it'll probably be a focus piece at some point, maybe later this summer. It's fun, bright colors for an autumn stitch, so I wouldn't mind stitching that in the summer, even though it's kind of autumn themed because it's fun, bright colors. Okay, then on May 29th, I started, some of these you guys have seen very recently because I worked on them in the past week, but my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. I am stitching this on 16 count Aida in the colorway Wren by Picture This Plus with all the called for DMC, with the exception of I'm using a toile for the snowflakes. So I'm using, oh, can you see this sparkle a little bit? So I'm still using the white in places that are just things that are white. But for the snowflakes, I'm using the Etoile in Blanc. So that's how far I am on that. I would love to have this done for next Christmas, for Christmas 2020. But I'll tell you, I'm all the way up here and there's all of this to do. So if come like October, I'm close, I will push for a finish on that, but I'm not making any promises. 2021. That will for sure be done for 2021. Okay, my next start was in June. On June 5th, I started Quaker Geometric Puzzle by Ink Circles. Love this piece so much. There's two colorways. I'm doing this one with like the purples and maroons and golds. And I am stitching this on a 32 count white even weave with all the called for DMC for that colorway. And this is how far I am. I actually almost have the first page on this finish. There's a little bit here because some of these things are actually onto the second page. So I have a little bit here and then this one comes into the page below it, but I love this piece. That's another one that's just gonna take a while. That's gonna take a long while to finish, but I love stitching on it every time it comes out. Okay, next up is, are you guys so impressed that I put these all in order? I keep leaning over because they're in a huge tote. They're in a huge tote in the floor, but I took them off my shelves and put them in order. Yay. Okay, so why is this in plastic? I don't know. So the next one that I started on June 11th is Acorn Drum by the Blue Flower. This is an exclusive kit to Acorns and Threads in Portland. However, at the last time I was there for First Thursday, was it in November? I'm not sure, I looked in December, but in November for sure I knew she still had these kitted up. And I thought it was a great, so that's the only way you can get the pattern for right now is as a kit from Acorns and Threads. But it comes with the linen. It comes with, I'll show you, it comes with the card with all the silks on it, the pattern, a needle, everything. And I thought it was a fantastic value, especially to have a project with silks that you don't have to buy full skeins of silk. The kit itself came with 40 count linen in Lakeside Linen and Butter Pecan, I think. I still haven't stitched on 40 count. I now own 40 count that I will try to stitch on soon. At the time, I was completely intimidated, and this, I believe, was my very first thing I ever stitched on 36 count. That seemed plenty high enough to me. So I switched out the fabric for 36 count linen and flax. but I am using all the silk, and this is how far I am. This is the top of the drum. I haven't started the side of the drum yet. So there we go. That's how far I am on Autumn Drum by the Blue Flower. Love her patterns. And I love the bag that this is in. It's little squirrels and sweaters and snails. Okay. My next start was on June 26th. And I started Knee High by the 4th of July by Hands On Design. And I am stitching this on a, did I write down what size? No, see, I still wasn't that great about writing stuff down. This is it's on a piece of Aida that I tea coffee dyed myself. It looks like 18 count, but it could be 16. I don't know. It's 16 or 18 count white Aida that I tea coffee dyed. And I am using the called for colors, except for this green back here, I think was charted for maybe guacamole, and I didn't have that. And so I did it in corn husk, which seemed appropriate anyway for the chart. So that's how far I am on this. This is my Midwest stitch. I stitch this when I go back to the Midwest. So it'll just get stitched on when I go back to the Midwest until it's done. My next Midwest jaunt, I believe, will be in April. I am taking the girls to Omaha, Nebraska for a dance convention. So that will for sure get worked on in April. All right, next up. Oh, yeah, that's right. On April 3rd, in April, I did April 3rd, July 3rd. Did you guys wonder how we went from June to July so quick? In July, I did like a Jolly July, and instead of doing 31 ornaments, all my starts were, not all my starts. Nope, not all my starts. All my planned starts that I really planned out were all Christmas themed. So the first one on the 3rd was Holiday Quaker by Lila's Studio. You guys have seen this recently. And this I am stitching on a 36 count pearl gray linen with all the called for threads, which are a mix of Gentle Arts and DMC. And that's how far I am. This is another one that I love this chart, and I love Quakers. I love all the little motifs in this one, but I have no deadline for getting that done, and I know it probably won't be next year because it's pretty big. What's the size on this? It's not small, that's for sure. 261 by 180. I had a problem when I was first starting things, not realizing how big they were. Oh well. I did finish some of the things that I had started in July. So I only have like one other, I think, Christmas start. On July 15th, I started not a holiday start, but I started Meow Block by Hands On Design. I'm pretty sure I started this. I had it already all kitted up. I had purchased this at Acorns and Threads in May, the very first time I ever went. I was just bowled over by all the things. I bought this chart and kitted it all up there. So I had it all ready to go. So I know that I must have started this for a School of Magical Stitches task. So it comes with the little felt. I bought the pins and everything. And I am stitching this on a 36 count flax, 28. I think it's 28. Yes, 28 count. 28 count linen in flax. Can you see I was on a flax kick for a while? It was my favorite neutral. I still really like it, but this is how far I am on the Meow Block. I love this. I think eventually when this is done, like I'll keep it for a while, but I think eventually this will go with my oldest daughter, who loves cats so very much and is a sewer. So eventually that will probably go live with her. So I'm not in a huge hurry to get that done either, but it's cute. I love all those little blocks. There's a wine one that I'd love to do. There's a coffee one. Let's see, what's next? Okay, next up, I started the first one of these on July 17th. So I left it in that spot. And that is, because it's a series of them, is these chalkboard ornaments by Hands On Design. So on the 17th of July, I started Believe, and I finished that one. But I just left it in that spot because I see them as being all together. Hold on just a moment, my daughter's calling. Okay, I'm back. She never calls. Teenagers never actually use their phone to call. So whenever they do, I'm concerned that something is wrong. All right, so I was saying that I started Believe on July 17th. That one's done. I'm now working on Be Jolly. This is where I am on Be Jolly. And I am stitching these on 16 count Aida in chalkboard, which I think is a Witchel maybe. And I'm using, where it's hanging, and I'm using all the called for colors. It's like four. It's 4 colors of Gentle Arts. So, and yeah, I'd like for all 3 of these to be done and FFO'd for next Christmas. I may have ordered another set of these today. I like them. I think they're cute. All right, so that is Chalkboard Ornaments. Next is, I'm going to write that down, Chalkboard Ornaments by next Christmas. This will help me know what I should put in as my focus pieces for each month. Next up, I started on August 6th, and that was Lizzy Kate Tingles. I'm doing all of them all together like that on one piece of fabric. And I am doing them on 14 count Aida in Prank by Picture This Plus. And I'm loving it on that. And here is where I am. So I have 2 blocks down. I'm working on the 3rd one. The border chart, the chart for all the border pieces, all the extra stuff, is a freebie on the Lizzy Kate website, blog, whatever. And this one, I really want to do 1 block a month. So if I do 1 block a month on this, it's going to go in my acrostic challenge every month to get 1 block finished, because then it'll be finished in time for Halloween. It might not be fully finished, but it will be done by October if I do 1 block a month. So that's the goal on Tingles. All right. Next, having to dig deeper and deeper into the spin. There's a whole nother one. Next up, on August 13th, I started for Carla Bean Crafty's Black Cat Birthday Sal. I started Midnight Watch. Huge black cat. I love it. Oh, I love this piece. And I am stitching this on 32 count Winter's Brew by R&R with some of the called for overdyed floss, and some places I used the DMC conversion. I kind of did some picking and choosing on where I thought the overdyed would look really good and where I thought it would be fine to do DMC. And that's where I am on Midnight Watch. And with all of your guys' help and input this year, I decided that I'm not doing this full alphabet. I'm just going to do 1 line with my initials and the date. So I'll have to jigger how I do that. But I'm not going to do this whole alphabet, because I really just like that big old house and cornstalk and cat. I don't need all that alphabet. So that's where I am on Midnight Watch. Put all that back in the bag. Okay, and then on August 17th, I started this for Deborah's Stitch the Stache Birthday Sal, because we had stitched it together. Well, we hadn't stitched it together. She was stitching on this when I got to meet her in person in New York last summer. So fun. So I started Sophia, because when she was working on it, I said, hey, I have that. And so pretty. And I am stitching this on 32 count even weave. it's a 32 count even weave in the colorway Mallow, I think. Mallow? I don't know. I don't think I have it written down. It doesn't say anywhere. This is 32 count even weave in Mallow, and that's how far I am. So I've got a leaf and some little border done. So that's that one. That's another one. I don't really have a timeline getting finished. I really like it. It's really pretty. It's not urgent. All right. Oh, August 19th, I started arranging vegetables by Ink Circles. I'm doing this on the same piece of that linen that was kind of like the weird mystery linen from the WIP that I completely abandoned. But even though it's kind of weird and floppy, I think it fits this piece, and so I'm just stitching it. And I'm using all of it. So it came in a package that said, I think it was even Charles Craft. Might have been Charles Craft. I don't know. It said Irish even weave linen tea dyed. But it looked like it came from a big box store. I don't know. I don't know what manufacturer this is, but I am using all the called for Gentle Arts. I think it's all Gentle Arts. Does it say? Yes, Gentle Arts. It's all Gentle Arts. So there we go. So that's where I am on arranging vegetables. I like it. I like just about that whole series. Okay. Next up was Playing with Jacks, and I started this on August 28th for my own Play Jack Sal. So with Leslie Hurley. Leslie Hurley and I are both doing this, and the hashtag is Play Jack Sal, and we're both still working on it, so you can still jump in. We'll probably both still be working on it this fall. So it's by the Cricut Collection, Cross-Eyed Cricut. There is a freebie alternate pumpkin called the Forest Pumpkin for the middle, and I am doing the alternate Forest Pumpkin. This is all DMC with the exception of one color that is silk for that alternate pumpkin. Whew, this is wrinkled, guys. I am doing this on, I don't know what size it is. I want to say 32. Yes. 32 count linen in the colorway Valor by Picture This Plus. So wrinkly. Oh my, that's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. Anyway, this is how far that I am. So this is the middle Forest Pumpkin, and this leaf color is the silk. It's silk in color, autumn foliage, I think. And the rest of it is just called for DMC. So, and that's all I have done on that. So I really love this chart though. I would like to have this one done this fall because it's really, once you get going on it, it's a lot of stitching, but once you get going on it, it doesn't really feel like it. I feel like it goes pretty quick when you actually start stitching on it. That chart's a little bit of a tight fit in there, but anyhow, so that is Playing with Jacks. I'm gonna write that down because I kind of would like to have that one done. Play with Jacks. I'd like to have that done by October. I could do that, right? I feel like I just lost a needle. Did you guys hear a needle drop? I'm good at this, right? I'm really good at this floss tubing thing. Okay, my next start was on August 30th. And this was for, I started this for a Sal that was started by Carolyn Zook, C-Zook Stitch on Flosstube. And it was hashtag long dog, maybe just long dog Sal, I think. And I started Game of Swans. I love this piece so much. I'm stitching this on 36 count linen in the colorway Silvery Moon. And I am using all of the called for Gentle Arts threads. So, which looks very different from the cover picture, but I love it. I love it. And that's where I am on Game of Swans. If there's like a Stitch 9-ish thing for next year, this would be on it. I mean, I know it's a big chart. Like that's a big, that would be a big goal. But I have a couple other long dog charts I have cardinal points already kitted up, and I have death by cross stitch that I definitely want to do someday, but I feel like one long dog started at a time is plenty, but I do love this, so I'm writing it down. Game of Swans, finish. Do we think I could do that? I'm doing Stitch from Stash, so hopefully I won't be starting as many things outside of Mania. So maybe I could. I don't know. Seems like a big goal, guys. Go big or go home, I guess. All right. Next WIP I started on September 5th, and it is, there's a lot of stuff in here. Love My Stitching, which was a collaboration between Hands-On Design and So Much to Love. Because you get all the instructions, you get this pattern and all the instructions to make a bag just like the So Much to Love bags. You guys know how I feel about them. So I bought all of the fabric. I think I even have the rickrack and everything. So I am stitching this on 14 count white Aida with just some DMC that I picked that will go with the fabric. And this is where I am on that. I'd really like to get this done too, because I'd like to make that bag. Because once I do it once, I feel like I will know how to do it. And I could probably follow those directions and figure out how to do it for any piece. And there's some pieces that I just think would be great. I like the idea of like using the cross stitches, like not just hanging them up. Not that that's not great. Love some beautiful cross stitching, but I also love the idea of using the stitching, like turning them into usable items. And project bags would be really fun. So there's where I am on Love My Stitching. So I don't know. I'm gonna set a goal for first half of the year, by June, end of June. Are you guys laughing? Are you keeping track of this? So that you can come back at me and be like, hey Erin, how's that Love My Stitching project coming along? How's that project bag project coming? All right, next up was a start on September 10th. And that is, this is a club. This is a club kit from Inspired Needle called the French Kitchen. It's going to be a series of 4 charts. I have 2 of them, and it's a collaboration between Hands-On Design and Summer House Stitchworks. So the first one in the series was Apples and Sage, which I have started, and that's how far I am. Apples and Sage. And so it comes with all of the called for fabric. This is 32 count chocolate milk hand dyed by Stephanie, and Weeks Dye Work flosses. Have not started, but I have received the second one in the series. I'll show you the second one, and I feel like the third one is coming next month, maybe. So the second one was Pear Rosemary by Summer House Stitchworks. Oh, how much do you love that? What I may end up doing is when the next one comes that I think is like a spring summer one, I might start that and see if I can actually finish it and get it displayed and then start keeping up with the seasons. Maybe. I don't know. I like all those, and I bought the little horn book to finish it and everything. And I know exactly where it's going to go in my kitchen. If I know how I want them finished and I know where I'm going to put them, I find that I am more motivated to actually finish them. She says, as she shows you the only partially started WIP from September. Okay. Next up, okay, that's one tote down, guys, and this one's much smaller. Next up,
what would you like to play next?
Apparently my daughter brought an Alexa in here.
Sorry, I didn't get that. By the way, when you teach me your voice, I can start making your Alexa experience more personal.
You guys, the AI is coming for us. It's going to rise up against us, I am sure. My daughter's been in here sewing. She's been working on some cosplay for Comic-Con while she's here on break, and so that is her dot. that is in here that I'm sure she was playing some music on. Okay, my next start was on September 11th, and it was Penny Autumn by Plum Street Sampler. One of my favorite. Paulette Stewart is a genius. And I am stitching this on, I'm sure you guys are going to be shocked. Seriously, I have needles and thread hanging everywhere. This is on, I'm sure it's flax. Does it say anywhere? Don't know. It looks, I'm sure this is flax because I had a little bit of extra. This is 36 count flax. And I'm using all the called for colors. Can't you tell? I'm using all the called for colors, and I have been working on that border. So that's where I am on Penny Autumn. Yes, 36 count flax linen with called for colors. Okay, next one up, I was clearly in all fall starts. September was all fall, autumnal starts, which are my favorite thing. Like if I could stitch autumn all year, I would. I mean, I could, but then my house would be bursting to the seams with autumn, fall cross stitches and be barren the rest of the year. So I will do some spring, summer. I'm very drawn to all things fall and fall colors and squirrels and all those things. Turkeys. All right, but this next start was on October 9th, and that was Cinnamon Stars. And this I know I started for the Besties Cinnamon Stars Sal. They finished it. A lot of people finished it. I have not. I am stitching this on 36 count linen in Old Town Blend by R&R. I'm using all the called for colors, and this is where I am. There we go. That's my start on Cinnamon Stars. Once again, I love this chart, and that one I will probably frame. That will get a frame. Be frame worthy, I am sure. Okay, and then the next one I started, and this one I started for Annie the Joyful Stitcher's birthday. I started Promise of Spring by Silver Creek Samplers, and this is going to be a focus piece. I want to finish this in January. So I love that. I am stitching it on a piece of, I think this is 18 count Ada in the colorway Sterling by Picture This Plus. And there is my rockin' start on that. I am using some of the called for colors, and I subbed out this color here. I can't remember what that was supposed to be. Some kind of overdyed black that I didn't have and I thought would be too harsh anyway. So that I'm doing in Zach Black by Classic Colorworks. Yeah, so that's my blazing start on that. But this one I already have it in the planner to be a focus piece for January. So that's Promise of Spring. My next start was on October 23rd. I started Turkey Bay. I love this chart. And I am doing that on a piece of 32. Let me see. 36 count white linen. I don't know. I just thought all these colors would really pop on white, so I wanted it on white. And I'm using all the called for colors, all the called for flosses, which I think is mostly, it's mostly Gentle Arts. Oh no, I lied. I totally lied. It's a bunch of Classic Colorworks and some Weeks Dye Works. All right, next up is Halloween. We're to Halloween. My Halloween start this year was Prairie Moon Martini Witches. This pattern was gifted to me by a stitchy friend, Denise. And I sprung for all the called for silks for this because I love this piece. This one, when it's done, is going to hang up right here somewhere year round. Martini Witches. I am stitching this on 32 count Stormy Night 32 count linen in Stormy Night. And this is my start on it. So I haven't gotten very far, but ooh, I love that. So that's a fun piece. Don't think that will be done for this Halloween, but you never know. Could happen. It could happen, but I really want to get Tingles done because it's really cute and I'm not going to have kids in the house for that much longer. So I'd like to get Tingles done so that I can turn it into a wall hanging or something and hang it up while the kids are still around. Next up is, and this seriously, I almost didn't even put this on my WIP list because I think it might be finished this week, but it's not finished yet. So we're counting it as a WIP. This is Winter Holiday Christmas Lantern. Christmas Lantern by Mill Hill. And it's just a little magnet. And I'm almost done. I have a tiny little bit of beading and then I need to FFO it. So there's where I am. I might be able to I might not even carry this into 2020, but I also only have a few days left. So also a very good possibility that's not happening. We shall see. Okay. Next up. And I started that on November 5th because November I did mostly more Christmas starts. So next up was, this is another one I have to show you a picture of because there's no cover photo. Okay, so on November 6th, I started Merry and Bright by Ship's Manor. And this picture is, I can't find like even a finished picture of it on Ship's Manor site. So I swiped this picture from Brian Blitz Stitch's Instagram because I think his stitch of it is beautiful and it's the reason that I even saw it and wanted it. Fully enabling. I am stitching this on 32 count linen in Mystic by Picture This Plus with all of the Ship's Manor's amazing flosses. It's a pack for this. I think it was a stitch along maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a stitch along one year. And so there's a special thread pack for it. The flosses are amazing, as you can tell, and that's how far I am on Merry and Bright. On November 10th, having to reach pretty far down, guys. On November 10th, I started Gobble Gob by Plum Street Samplers, and I was selling this with Amy from Amy Loves Toads. She's finished hers. I knew she was going to leave me in the dust. That was not a big shock. That was not a big shock, but I worked on this like a mad woman over Thanksgiving weekend. You know what's falling? And I got really close. So I think this will be a finish. This will definitely be a finish by next Thanksgiving. So I can do it. I'm very close. Not really, but I'm 3/4 of the way there. Gobble gob. So by Thanksgiving. And this is being done on a 32 count mystery even weave. I have no idea. It's 32. I like counted it out, so I know it's 32 count. It's a big piece. I'm going to be using it for a few other things this year. I got it off a stash and loan. I got no idea. Mystery fabric. And I am stitching this in some of the called for overdyes and some of the listed DMC conversion. Once again, I just went with what I thought would look really great with overdyed and where it was just a few stitches and I could use DMC, and there I am. See, look at that. I have the rest of this hill to do and a couple little square things and finish out the border. That's so close. That's so close. So that will definitely be done. That will be a 2020 finish. Boom. Bubblegum. Okay, my next start was not seasonal. So I clearly started this for a task. Hands-on Design Laundry Company Series Irony. So I have one of these done already. I already finished this one. So I finished Self-Service, loads of fun. It's all FFO'd hanging in my laundry room. I'm going to do both of the other two, but this is the one I started on next. Was Irony is the new wrinkly. I am doing all of these on 32 count white linen with the called for DMC. Just calls for DMC, it looks great. And I have irony. That's what I have so far. So there we go. And then as soon as I finish that one, I will start the last one. Because I even have all of the, like I bought 3 of the same exact little like kind of washboard looking frame. So and I know where they're gonna hang. One of them's already up. All right, so I started that one on November 14th. November 19th, I started Lizzy Kate, Mystery Sampler, Holly and Hearts. I bought this off of Stash Unload, all 3 parts, all kitted up. So it is being stitched on the called for 28 count doubloon with all of the called for weeks dye works. And this is how far I am on Holly and Hearts. I feel like this could potentially be done for next Christmas. Like if I was going to do if I was going to finish off one bigger Christmas stitch, I feel like this would be it. I don't know why I feel like it wouldn't be Merry and Bright. But I feel like this would be the one that I would maybe finish. So let's say I'm going to finish one Christmas sampler. One Christmas sampler will be done for next year. I need to figure out which one. But one Christmas sampler will be done by December. This is really going to help me out, guys, deciding because I really do want to focus. This coming year, I do want finishes because I started a lot of stuff this past year, a lot. Because I was new, I started a lot of things. So this coming year, I would like to every month pick 1 or 2 pieces that I really focus and push on. And Jen's planner has like a printable just for that purpose. So, and then I want to take that piece and try to make it fit as many challenges as possible. So I get a lot of good progress on pieces and finishes. So, all right, my next piece that I started, and this was I started this on November 24th. This was my November high tea start. The only time I participated in high tea this past year. And this was it. So it's a pretty sad, pathetic start, but I started Dog's Declaration by Ink Circles. And I am stitching this on 36 count linen in, oh, I don't know. Guys, why do I not know? Creamy Ivory. It is a neutral. That's sad. And I'm using all the called for Baldani threads. I bought the thread pack. I kitted this all up at Acorns and Threads. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, I know where. This is 36 count Lakeside linen in bisque that I had bought off of Stash Unload. And it was a huge piece of Lakeside linen. And I was so glad that I had it for this piece because I think it's going to be perfect. And here is my amazing start. Does it even go that way? I think it does. I don't think it goes this way. It might go this way. Don't know, guys. Definitely doesn't go this way. I started top left. It's a pathetic start if you don't know which way to hold it. There we go. This is going to be a long process piece, but I love it. I love it. And Melissa, one of the Kits Up Stitchers, just finished it. So you can check out her Instagram. It's gorgeous. All right. And then I started on November 25th. I started Unlace House, and I started this over with the Kitsap Peninsula Stitchers. They have a sal going, PNW Emily's House sal. So I started it while I was with them, and I'm going to work on this on Monday nights while they're meeting up. And this is how far I am. I've actually got a decent start on that border. What do we think of that? There we go. And this, I'm stitching this on 36 count linen in Drapple Brown by XJU Designs with all the called for colors. Because I bought this, I got one of Lindy Stitch's kits that came with the threads, the specialty threads, because it calls for Gentle Arts and a bunch of DMC. So it calls for both. So I'm using all the called for colors. And yeah. So that's that fun sal. You guys can join along. Anybody can join. We're all going to be stitching on it for quite a while. Because I think there's a couple of them that also just work on that on Mondays when they meet up. So it's going to take a while just working on it a little bit one week. Look, I didn't get going. I'll put back. Guys, we're on the last page. Okay. As I disappear every time. All right, I started on November 27th. I started Little House Needleworks Cardinal Winter. And I am stitching this on 18 count Aida in Country Mocha with called for colors, which is 2 classic color works. 2 classic color works and the rest DMC. That's where I am. I'd like to have this finished by January. This might go with me on my trip. So I would like to have that finished by January because I have the finishing frame and everything. I have a 4th of July piece in there, but all the backing fabric and everything will work great for this, so I just need to magnet them in and out. On November 27th, I started Peace on Earth by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I am stitching this on, I don't know, guys. You'd think I'd be better at this by now. Is the tag still on it? I don't know where the tag went. Oh, I do know where it went. It's on the rest of the fabric because I actually cut down my big old whack of fabric, which I don't normally do. Oh, I know what this is. It's 36 count Fog Lifter by R&R. 36 count Fog Lifter by R&R, and I am stitching this with called for colors. So there we go. And I bought a big old hunk of this linen at Acorns and Threads, and look, I actually cut it down to size. I clearly have not yet oversewn the edges. But normally, you guys know me, I just have the whole big thing of linen hanging down there and give Anna Stitch Roadies a heart attack. All right, so this is it. This is the last couple. These are the December starts. December 8th, I started Snow House by Lizzy Kate. This will also be done by the first of the year. I am stitching this also on, I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco, tea-dyed Monaco. And that's what I have done. I am stitching this with some of the DMC that's called for. I'm doing a bit of a color conversion, but I clearly haven't gotten that far to decide. So this is what's listed because it calls for a whole bunch of weeks dye works. So I'm using the DMC conversion for some of it, but I've picked my own overdyes for the house and the roof and the tree, I think. So the house and the tree. And I will, you guys, this will pop up again. You'll see it again in another Flosstube, and I will list out my conversion for that. And then my last start for the year. Da, 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 da. And this is kind of an ongoing WIP, actually. You guys see this all the time. This is my ongoing WIP, but my current one that I'm working on is January. So the Lizzy Kate yearbooks, I do one of these every month, and I will until through June when I finish July's. So I have another 6 months of these to do because August through November I have already completed. And I'm stitching these all on 28 count linen in flax with the DMC, listed DMC conversion. And that's where I am on January. So there we go. That's it. That's all the WIPs, guys. And this is just, that WIP will just keep rolling over until they are all done. And then I can maybe focus on another seasonal. I really like the seasonal series. I might have to do Plum Street samplers like Hello Fall, Hello Winter, Hello Spring. I love that series. So that's it, guys. That's all the WIPs. And I did it in just under an hour. Boom. Impressive. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful new year. I'm so excited to spend all of 2020 stitching with you all. And I want to hear all about your plans and see all of your WIPs. And just have a wonderful end of the year. See you in the new year. Cheers.